Your parents will not always tell you they need help. Sometimes they will say, "I'm fine." Sometimes they will smile before you can ask the second question. Sometimes they will change the subject. And because your life is already full, work, bills, messages, responsibilities, your own problems, you believe them. Not because you do not care, but because believing them is easier than stopping long enough to notice what has changed. You tell yourself you will call tomorrow. You tell yourself you will visit next weekend. You tell yourself they would tell you if something was really wrong. But one day you visit the house you used to know so well, and you realize something. They were not hiding a crisis. They were hiding how hard ordinary things had become. Your father opens the door. He smiles the same way. He says the same simple words. "Come in, have you eaten?" And for a moment, everything feels normal. The hallway still smells familiar. The shoes are still near the door. The old chair is still beside the wall. The kettle still makes the same small sound from the kitchen. You feel that old comfort for a second. The feeling that this house has not changed, that your parents are still the same people they have always been. Then your father turns to walk back inside, and you see it. His hand reaches for the back of the chair, not because he is moving something, not because he is resting, but because he needs it to stand steady, just for a second, so small you almost miss it. He does not look at you when he does it. He does not explain. He just pushes himself upright, smiles again, and says, "Sit down, I'll make tea." And something in you becomes quiet, because you remember him differently. You remember him carrying heavy bags with one hand, fixing things before anyone asked, walking faster than you could when you were a child, standing in the doorway like nothing in the world could move him. And now he needs the back of a chair, only for a second, but you saw it. Your mother comes out of the kitchen. She is smiling too. She says you look thin. She asks if you're eating enough. She asks about work. She asks if you're sleeping. She asks everything except whether she is okay. And then you notice the medicine boxes beside the tea. Small boxes, neatly arranged, like they have been there long enough to become part of the table. She picks one up, reads the label slowly, and puts it back as if it is nothing, as if it is not worth mentioning, as if slowing down is just part of the afternoon. You want to ask, but your phone vibrates. A work message, a bill reminder, someone needing an answer, another small demand from the life you brought with you. So you look down, just for a moment. You tell yourself you will ask later, later when tea is finished, later when work stops pulling at you, later when the conversation feels easier. But later is the word that quietly steals time from people who mean well. You sit at the table. Your father talks about the neighbor. Your mother asks whether you want more food. Everything sounds ordinary, but now you cannot stop seeing the small things. The way your father lowers himself into the chair more carefully. The way your mother keeps one hand near the table when she walks. The way the medicine sits beside the tea. The way the house is still clean, but quieter. The way the clock on the wall feels louder than before. You start to remember all the calls you missed. Not emergency calls, just ordinary ones. Your mother calling to ask if you had eaten. Your father calling to say the weather was changing. A short message saying, "Are you busy?" A missed call during a meeting. Another one while you were driving. Another one when you were too tired to talk. At the time, each one felt small. You thought, "I'll call back later." And maybe you did. Sometimes, but often, later became night. Night became tomorrow. Tomorrow became another week. And because they did not complain, you thought it was okay. Because they did not ask for help, you assumed they did not need any. Because they still answered the phone with a steady voice, you believed everything was still under control. But parents do not always ask when they need help. Sometimes they do not ask because they know you're busy. Sometimes they do not ask because they do not want to become another responsibility in your life. Sometimes they do not ask because they spent so many years being strong for you that they do not know how to become the person who needs care. And sometimes they are afraid afraid that if they say, "This is getting harder," you will look at them differently, afraid that if they admit the stairs feel steeper now, something will change forever, afraid that needing help will make them feel less like your parent. So they say, "I'm fine," and you believe them because you want to, because your own life is already heavy. Work pulls at you, bills keep arriving, messages keep asking for answers, and by the time the evening comes, even love can start to feel like one more thing you are too tired to do properly. That is the painful part. You are not delaying because you do not love them. You are delaying because life keeps giving you reasons that make sense. But time does not pause just because your reasons are understandable. Your parents keep aging on ordinary days. While you answer emails, while you sit in traffic, while you say, "next weekend," while you wait for life to calm down enough to be present, and life may not calm down. There may always be another meeting, another bill, another message, another tired night. For you, calling them may feel like one more thing. For them, it may be the thing they waited for, a voice in the quiet house, a sign that they are still part of your life. A few minutes where they do not have to ask for much, just to hear you, just to know you remembered. Maybe that is why the visit hurts, not because anything dramatic happens. No one cries, no one falls, no one says, "I need help." Your father still jokes, your mother still tells you to eat more. The tea is still warm, the house is still standing, but something has shifted. You can feel it. A quiet understanding enters the room. The people who once carried you are now quietly carrying things they do not talk about. And you are old enough now to notice. That is the moment of revelation, not a hospital room, not a terrible phone call, not a sudden goodbye. Just your father's hand on the back of a chair, medicine beside the tea, a house that looks the same but feels older. And the realization comes softly, but it does not leave. They were not asking because they did not need you. They were not asking because they did not want to be a burden. You look at your father's hands, the hands that fixed the door, the hands that carried groceries, the hands that held yours when you were small. Now they move more slowly. You look at your mother's face, the face that stayed awake when you were sick, the voice that asked if you were home safe, the person who could hear worry in your voice before you even explained it. And you realize something that feels unfair. You have been waiting for them to tell you when it is time to show up. But maybe love does not always wait for an invitation. Maybe sometimes love means noticing before someone asks. Maybe it means hearing the words "I'm fine" and still looking gently at what the room is saying. The chair, the medicine, the slower steps, the missed calls, the quiet house, the way they say they are okay too quickly. This is not about living in guilt. Guilt can make you freeze. Guilt can make you avoid the call even longer because you feel ashamed of how much time has passed. This is not about blaming yourself for being busy. This is not about quitting your job, fixing everything, or becoming perfect overnight. It is about one small change. Stop waiting for a crisis to prove they need you. Ask before the crisis. Notice before the emergency. Call before the regret. The next time you talk to them, do not only ask, "Are you okay?" Because they may say yes. Ask something smaller, something real. What has gotten harder for you lately? Then wait. Do not rush to fix it. Do not interrupt with advice. Do not make them feel weak for answering honestly. Just listen. Maybe they will say, "Nothing, everything is fine." That is okay. Ask again another day. Maybe they will mention the stairs, or the doctor, or the light bulb they have not changed, or the phone they do not understand, or the bus stop that feels farther than before. Maybe the answer will be small, but small answers are where love can begin again. You do not have to solve their whole life today. You can make one call. You can plan one visit. You can sit at the table without checking your phone. You can ask your father if anything around the house has become difficult. You can ask your mother if there's an appointment she wants help remembering. You can take out the trash before they ask. You can change a bulb You can carry the heavy bag. You can stay 10 minutes longer than usual. And maybe most importantly, you can let them feel that needing you does not make them a burden. That is what many parents are afraid of. Not just aging, not just weakness, but becoming too much for the child they tried so hard to protect. So when they say, "I don't want to bother you," you can say, "You're not bothering me." When they say, "It's nothing," you can say, "I still want to know." When they say, "You're busy," you can say, "I am, but you still matter." Not as a speech, not as something dramatic, just as a quiet truth. Because one day, the house may still be there. The chair may still be there. The teacups may still be there. But the ordinary afternoon may not come back in the same way. And you will not wish you answered more emails. You will not wish you scrolled longer. You will not wish you waited for a perfect time. You may wish you had noticed sooner. You may wish you had asked one more question. You may wish you had sat down, put the phone away, and stayed. So do not wait for them to ask. Call them. Visit if you can. Look gently at what has changed. Ask what has gotten harder lately. And when they say they are fine, listen with love, but also look at the chair. Look at the medicine beside the tea. Look at the small signs time leaves behind, because your parents may not always tell you they need help, but sometimes the room will. And if you notice now, while there is still time, one ordinary visit can become something you will never regret.